All right, all right. Sweet. Looks like we're live. Hello and good day. My name is Chris Palmer with chrispalmer.org and Gray Hat SEO. In today's ultimate local business SEO guide video, what I want to walk you through is a how-to guide. Really, I got some questions related to doing video SEO, YouTube SEO, local business marketing, local video marketing. So I wanted to go ahead and answer the questions of optimization. Hey, should we do it? How do we do this? But on top of that, what has been working for us in the real estate space, in the dentist space, in the chiropractor space, what's actually been working and for myself. So I want to break this video down, really walking through a full guide, a entity-based local business marketing guide that goes through the process, goes through how to do the keyword research, which videos to create. I'll also walk you through how to optimize the videos, but also the thought process, the strategy, the technique, really the strategy to doing local business marketing in 2025, thinking of a entity-based approach. So I don't want to waste any time. Let's get directly into it. What I'll do is I'll switch to this, but before I get started, I have to, of course, all right, check out chrispalmer.org. This is going to be moving forward. We're going to focus on resellers, bulk, other agencies, consulting. That'll be here, right? But as we start doing just the done for you monthly recurring packages, I really want to lean towards Gray Hat SEO. And of course, we're just building this out. We're not done. I'm not done yet, right? My partner and I, my brother and I are done. But then, of course, we have the mastermind as well. Enough about me, all right? Here's why we're here today, all right? So I've laid this out in order to better explain this, okay? So the reason for this video, for not only the local business or local video marketing, but also to lay out this strategy, it was actually incited by this gentleman here, along with a few other people from the group, from the community here on YouTube. Like I have a YouTube members area. So this gentleman, he must have asked me every day for a week. Plus other business owners have asked for a video strategy. So here you go. All right. So I'll give you exactly what you want, but of course I'll give you even more value. All right. Because that's the objective here. So I look at this as entity-based marketing. And when I say entity-based marketing, what I'm really saying is people, places, things, locations, basically anything that's been giving an entity ID, a topic, an idea, a word has been given an entity ID by Google. That means that it has its own number. It's been classified. And then there's a collection of words, a collection of ideas that are all connected. And that's how you build depth of concept. That's how you build a brand. So when we're building out a local marketing strategy, especially like say in the lead gen space, in the dentist space, in the real estate space, where we're having success, what has worked is what I'm going to lay out here in this entity-based marketing, video marketing, but it's so much more than just video marketing. All right. So Mohammed, this is for you. Now, what I want to walk through is first and foremost, we'll take care of the video and how you upload, how I would go about optimizing the channel and building out. But first, I just want to point out to you, when you're building your website, when you're doing your local video marketing, I want you to keep this in mind. All right. You have your service supporting content, right? Let's say that you're a dentist. You have your dentist page, you have your supporting content. You answer questions, who, what, when, why, where, how, and a best of. That content is written by an expert. Okay, so service, entity. Service expert, a person, an entity. Supporting content, this is information building depth of concept. This is building out our brand. On top of that, you have service location. So service, keyword, entity, location, entity. Next, you're building expertise within the site. Why? Google rewards not only authority from a link perspective or from a website age perspective, but also depth of knowledge. Have you been consistent? Do you have the age? Do you have the expertise? Are you trusted? How you build trust, authority, and how you become an actual brand is being consistent over time, right? So we're building depth of concept. On top of that, we're getting distribution to anything that's entity-based. Video, audio, image, and written copy. You with me? So far, now I want to point out this to you. Expert testimonials. This is more depth of concept around the person. With this, we have experts video, which we're going to talk about first, expert podcast, again, distribution, and then of course the experts images, jobs that were done, where your business is, what you do, right? Utensils that you use, tools of the trade. But I don't want to get too deep into entity-based marketing. Let's talk about the video portion first and foremost, all right? To help out Mohammed here. And then, of course, I've laid out the structure, but let's talk about video first, encompassing this massive strategy, okay? Let's talk about this first for Mohammed and hopefully yourself, all right? So on a much smaller level, what I want you to do if you're doing video marketing, and what I would highly suggest, and there's more than one way to win, and I'm by no stretch of the imagination an expert on video. We utilize video. I love video. I love teaching through video. We do it for some of our clients, some of our lead gen assets, right? The best performing ones. But I'm not saying I'm the absolute best. But what I want to point out to you is some of the things that I've learned that have worked for me. And on top of that will lead to better optimization for yourself. And of course, help Mohammed and whoever else wants to do video marketing. So the channel itself is built within the account of the expert. Remember, I just went through the entity-based. You're building a profile that is an expert. They have other profiles online, social media, LinkedIn, they have Pinterest, they have other accounts associated to their name and their expertise, okay? And when you look up their name, that expertise of what they do shows up, okay? That's what we're trying. This is entity-based. I'm trying to build relationships for service, location, and that I'm an expert. So when you build your YouTube account to start for your business, remember, I'm also building a persona, or maybe you are the expert. Let's just say it's for a dentist for sake of argument. I'm building out the profile in the expert's name. The channel that I'm on is built inside of that Google account. And on top of that, hopefully it's your business account. And your channel is only about one thing, whatever your expertise is. Okay, so that's first and foremost. When you're optimizing your channel initially, make sure it's around your expertise, of course. When you get into your descriptions, your links, everything is about you and what you do. The next piece I want to talk about is the videos themselves. You'll see all types of different strategies related to off-page strategy, traffic and links and yada, yada. I really just want to focus on what you can do right now. All right. Build a channel in a persona around an expertise, first and foremost. The information that you include is going to be around those two things. Next, we're going to look at video. I want to point something out. All right. See how these have CC? We're going to talk about that because it can lead to a piece of optimization. CC is the captions, the subtitles, but this is where you're reiterating the information that's in the video. It's called an SRT file. That SRT file contains extra keywords. The more places that you can add optimization, the more context to what you're adding, the better optimized your video is. All right? So the reason why I'm telling you this is there are certain things that some people or other people might say, hey, that's, you don't have to do that. The more context you give, the more optimized your video is. All right. Now let's just look at this one. Right. So this, I'm just going to walk through some of the key places that you want to focus on when you're uploading your videos around topics. And then we'll start talking about keyword research and topics and stuff that I feel that you should hit when building out and leaning towards this strategy as a whole. All right. So when we take a look at this video, whatever the primary key term is, verbatim, you want to make sure that it's in the title. Next, the next piece of information that I want to point out to you is this right here. The first few words that show up inside of the video results on YouTube, also on Google and other search engines, they must contain what's inside the title, most notably primary key terms verbatim to what's in the title. Next, you want to have up towards the top of the page. I might not have done this on this video, but generally right here, you want to put your calls to action. Call this number, go to this link, right? And I always, always, always want to put in what is called video schema. At least you will. Not every video I will. I put out a lot of videos. But if you're doing this, you want to chapter it. Why? It gives more context to the video. All right. The next piece that I want to point out to you is at the bottom of every video, I'm associating a name to an address, entity, phone number, entity. The video is about topic, entity. I'm putting my name, my address, my phone number, my business name. I put all of the information. Very important. The next thing that we like to do in every video, but we'll also put links to our maps, different map locations, internal pages that are on the site. Don't go completely ham, but we want to link things that are hyper relevant. All right. Our other social medias, remember, we're trying to build an entity around the person, around the topic, and our business. Okay. The next thing I want to point out to you, and I can side of here, and we will click on edit, and I'll show you some of the zones that you want to put this stuff into. Okay. So stick with me here. Let's go over here, copy, get rid of this. We'll come right over here, my friends. Okie dokie. All right. We'll come right into this one. Give me one moment, please. Pause, and we'll go to edit video. All right. Now, this is where I mentioned to go ahead and put your URL. Even if it was up here, what's great about having the URL up to the top, front and center, is that not only will the user see it, but it's not counted towards your character usage by YouTube. So what I mean by this is if I were to put my HTTPS, my URL up here, YouTube will still move it down. So I'll still get credit for all the key terms. So you want your link up top, but you don't want it to count towards your count. YouTube knows that. So put it up towards the top so people see it. Next, we talked about the schema. Next, we're talking about what's inside the video. Next, we're going to create what association to name, address, phone number, location. All right. The next piece of this is I want to point out these playlists. If you are a dentist, because my next example when we lay out the website is based around dentist. Let's say you're a dentist. If you're a dentist, what is your service dropdown? Because remember, you have a Google Maps, right? You have other profiles. What's your expertise around? Let's say you're a cosmetic dentist. So you do cosmetic dentistry. On top of that, you do Invisalign, you do root canals, you do, I don't know, veneers, you do implants, right? Whatever your primary top level category is, that's your playlist. Why? Because this is going to match and mirror your website of top level categories. And then you can fill in videos to build depth of concept. Because remember, those videos are going to be utilized on your website. Those videos are going to be used for more, but I just want to make this point. This playlist section mirrors the site, all right, when we're doing local businesses. Next, and don't mix and match. Put them in their relevant place. The next thing I want to point out to you is going to be, is it made for kids? Is it not? Fill this out. The more context you can give to the video, the better off you are. Don't skip a piece. It's your business. Don't be lazy. All right, let's scroll down. No, I don't restrict mine. Next, you'll go to show more. All right. Video doesn't contain paid promotion. I don't do paid promotion. This is altered content. Nope, we don't. There's nothing altered unless you are. Be upfront and honest with YouTube. I always am. The next piece is the chapters. I let them do whatever they want, right? Utilize the content. They're free distribution. You're going to put chapters in it. They're either going to do work for you, right? Like help you do work or help you distribute your content. Great. Go ahead, right? So there's that. Next is the tags. It says that they don't play a role. We tested this. For large channels that have subscriber base, channels that are getting a lot of distribution, sure. But I have found personally that utilizing your tags, any word and word variation that's in your title, that's what you add to the tags. So whatever words are up in your title tag, just utilize all the variations. And then go for big, broad topics. Like for me, maybe search engine marketing or how-to, education. And then, of course, I'm associating my name and my website. You with me? The next part is you're going to do your language. You always want to fill this out. Your content hasn't aired on TV unless it has. Title description, of course, fill this out. When did you record it? Location, adding this has led to less views. But if you're a local business and the video is targeting an area or a service in an area, it's going to be good for you. All right. Like when we're building out lead generations for we buy houses in a particular city, we're making videos about how much do homes generally go for? When should I call someone to sell my house? Like, why should I utilize a private seller as opposed to selling it myself or whatever? we put location modifiers in there. All right, that's this section. Next, standard license distribution is everywhere. Allow embedding, sure. Again, they're doing stuff with you. All right. Any functionality, any feature that someone can help expand you, your business, and what you're doing, I find it to be excellent. Go ahead. All right. Next is your category. Whatever you decide to put in as your category, that's what you stick with. You remember, you're trying to build consistency. So education. Type, just name it. This is the schema repeated. Again, I have found that this doesn't necessarily help. This was I tested it here. I think I did 10 different videos where I tested it. It takes a lot of time. It's not worth, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, in my opinion, as of today. Okay. Next, I always put the comments on, but I make it strict moderation. I don't want people advertising. You want to give them the opportunity to engage with you, but we don't want people advertising or saying anything malicious. So you can set that up on the other end. And that's what I do. It's just strict moderation. Okay. These are the basic pieces. File name obviously is the same name as your title. The thumbnail size is 1280 by 720. That's going to contain the primary key term. When you want to create your subtitles, here's what I do. This is fast, easy. You get that lift. So you come inside here, you click subtitles. You'll make this text. You scroll up to the very top. You change this one. Any of the misspellings or anything that's underlined, I usually will fix that up, right? I go down the list. If I see any ums or uhs, I'll do a control F, do like this. Usually I'll take them out if I see them, but then down at the bottom or anywhere throughout this particular file, you can add your key term, your phone number, your name. You can add key phrases. All right. You hit done, and now all of a sudden you have a closed caption file. Excellent. Next, we have on our end screen, you're baking in links to the video. Remember, you want to cross-reference your website and other videos that are within a playlist. So you put your playlist, you put a video, and then you put your website. You with me? Right? You're getting a link from Google, aka YouTube. Okay. Like, why wouldn't I? The same goes within here. You may want to put links to your playlist inside of your actual video description. All right. Next is the cards. They don't get much click through. If you want to take the time, go for it. I don't generally waste my efforts, but it's up to you. Now, the last piece that I want to point out as far as optimization, we talked about the title, the video, the description. We talked about video schema, putting your link up here. The only other thing is we talked about cross-linking playlists inside of the description. There's one more element of optimization, and that's the first comment. All right. Here, we'll go over here and we'll take a look at this so I could show this to you. All right. So when you're doing your very first comment, what I like to do is I like to put in because mobile, they might not see it. Desktop, people might not see it. However, there is an opportunity to generate a click and also convey more messages and incite some type of communication. It's key for business, right? So with that being said, this first comment, I always pin up to the top. We want to put our primary key phrases. We want to put like for me, it's, hey, ask a question. Here's my services. Here's my mastermind. Here's what I'm doing. Okay. For you, it might be different, but make sure you're linking to what's relevant, what service, who you are, what you do. Repeat relevant information here. All right. This is a key zone. It shows up in the code. It's important. All right. With that being said, there are some other optimizations that can be made when you're making your service area videos. Remember, YouTube is scanning the video. These are maybe advanced tips, I guess. They're scanning the video for anything that's malicious or, derogatory. However, when they're scanning the video, they are making what is called a storyboard. If you check the source code, you'll see storyboard. That storyboard is making thumbnails of your video, which they scan for verification. In any case, they're also looking at words on and in the video. So if you're putting primary key phrases, your name, your brand, the location you service, this is going to be a good idea. All right. Now that's basic stuff. All right. But that's going to wrap it up for that particular section. This is the video aspect. But I want to point out to you as a business owner, if you're using this as a strategy for local business marketing, we want to be very selective on the videos that we're making. Let me walk you through exactly what I mean, but let me show you this. All right. When we're talking about entity-based marketing, The strategy for us that we're finding success with, and I'm going to use an example of dental, is following this formula: service, supporting content by the expert, service location, expert pages, expert testimonial, experts videos, expert podcast, expert images. They're not all pages, but who created the image? What is the image named? This was created by an expert talking about our expertise. The podcast is distribution. The distribution of the podcast was made based on the video, right? You take the video and now it's audio. It's the same exact thing that you did here. You do in podcast, you get distribution. The next piece of it is going to be the testimonials. You're building depth of concept, not only on the terms and location, but also the person who's writing the content, creating the videos and the images. You're building depth of concept around your brand, your services, the locations you provide, and who works at your business. Important. With that said, I laid out a brief structure for you. All right. And we're gonna go deeper into this. It all works together. So when we're taking a look at a site, let's just say it's dental.com. All right. When we're taking a look at dental.com, we have dental.com/service. All right. Now, it's very particular about the way this was laid out. We just recently had a success. It's a lead generation site. It is in the dentist space for a very particular type of dentistry. We won't get into that, but this is the formula. Okay. With that being said, we have dental.com/service. Service could be Invisalign. Service could be whatever the service is, okay? The next thing I want to point out is that we're building our location service pages off of the root. These service locations support the main idea, the main entity, which is our brand name. The same with the primary service. Now, when we're creating more depth of concept, we're building the depth of concept based on a service. For instance, take a look here. We have www.dental.com/service. Let's say it's Invisalign / what is the cost of Invisalign? Now, we're not building out geo-specific supporting content. Why? Not only because we want to build other assets, images, audio, video, you with me, around a particular topic. Stick with me. So we have this content here. Inside of that page, we may put the embed from the video. We may put the images, right? We might include our podcast. Not might, you should be, right? We have our video. We have our images that were created by our expert. On top of that, we have our audio, right? Along with this, we have a piece of content that's building depth of concept, and we're able to convey to the robot that it's depth of concept or supporting by structure. Also internal link flow. As you can see from this particular example here, we have dental.com/service / what is the cost of X service? I can build so much around that, but stick with me. I'm going to share with you which pieces of content are going to be most valuable. It's based upon search volume, also your location, but I'll share it with you. On top of that, I'll also share with you ways to do better video marketing, ways to do better image, better podcasts. And how you want to do this is based upon, is it an entity result? An entity result is a result that is going to showcase an entity, not just a website, but it could be images, video, audio. We're looking to create content around entity results only. Stick with me. So on top of this, all right, back to our example here. We're coming down into our service. This is our depth of concept. These are our location service pages over here. This right here is our depth of concept. So we have our service / what's the cost? That's informational content based upon the cost of whatever service. Let's say it's Invisalign. Then on top of that, to build more depth, remember the person who's writing our high commercial intent pages was our expert. In this case, I made it Dr. Jane. Dr. Jane has LinkedIn. Dr. Jane has YouTube. Dr. Jane has Facebook. What's she talk about? Not just her family, but also her expertise. When you look up Dr. Jane online, it's very evident that she works here. It's located here. Her expertise is this, and these are her social profiles. You with me? So you want to build Dr. Jane's profile off of a supporting content, as a supporting content. Along with this, we also have procedures. Okay, this is more explanations. I'm just giving you ideas. Also procedures explained by Dr. Jane. Okay. I'm using Dr. Jane as an example. This could also be your videos. Remember, you can have video pages, you can have audio pages, and then all the images that have to do with this procedure, Dr. Jane's expertise, which in this case is Invisalign. All the images on the service pages are by Dr. Jane and they're about Invisalign. They might be shared on her profiles, her social profiles. Are you with me? The videos are about Invisalign. The audio is about Invisalign. The podcast is, the videos, the images. You're building depth around entities. Video, audio, image, content. You with me? Great. Now let's talk about building out more depth of concept based upon a primary key term. What we're going to utilize to figure out some of these entity results, I like to use SEMrush. All right. Give me a sec. Let's get a little Velo action going on here. I mixed these up. I had like 3 flavors. I had mint, I had berry, and I had citrus. And I mixed them together so it'd be like a surprise. So here we go. Let's be surprised. Mint. Nice. In any case, so when we're talking about, let's open this door up. When we're talking about building out a entity result, and remember, this is how I look at it. Okay? This is how we found success. I understand that in different areas, different niches, geographical locations, intents, everything's different. This is how we found success. Okay. So when we come inside of here and we look up dentist, remember, we're looking to build information, AKA depth of concept. But on top of that, we're also looking to build out video content, but not just in any SERP. If we're looking to build out video content and then make a podcast about it and then put images around that same topic, we want to make darn sure that it's showing up inside of an entity result. So here's what I mean by this. So we know that the primary term is dentist, but we're looking to produce content and depth of concept based upon entity results. Why? Because when I associate entities with a brand, business, service, or a person, that person gets a boost, right? So here's what we're looking to do. You come inside of here, we have questions. The questions are related to dentist. This is supporting content. If it's going to be, if I have website.com/dentist/depth of concept, here's your questions. On top of that, we also want to make sure that we are aiming for entity results when creating images, audio, and video. How do we find those types of pieces of content to create? Let me share with you. So you come inside of here. We're going to go broad match. We can do all if you want. Okay. And if you want to geo-modify it, you can. You could anything. I'm just giving you the strategy. All right. Dentist is the big primary. We want to target entity results with image, audio, and video. You come over here, go to all broad. We're looking for advanced filters. What are we looking for? Well, we're looking for entity results. An entity result showcases an entity within the main result. Now, we know that there is a sort order, right? Sort orders are based upon not only relevance, but also age, internal links. There's so many factors, right? But the big one is intent. It's intent, right? But we also know that the sort order is based upon relevance. So relevance and intent is what can influence SERP order, correct? So that tells me if images, video, or audio are on the first page, they are most relevant and they service the intent. So what I'm looking for is within that first page, is there going to be images? Is there going to be a video, featured video, video carousel? Now this is location is an entity as well. Now we've already addressed that, right? We know about having a GBP. We know about creating geo-specific. We're not going to address that. We're talking right now just about creating video content, images, podcasts around an entity. Okay. So what we're looking for down the list here, let's keep going. Looking for another image one. I thought there was another one, but this should get me to the result that I'm looking for. Image pack is good. Where's my other carousel at? Doesn't matter. I don't want to spend too much time on it. But now we're looking at the SERP functionality or the SERP feature containing a result. Hopefully we're looking for a first page result, first or second, containing these particular entities. Why is that? Because we want to associate those entities to our brand, business, and service, and also the people that work there. You with me? Great. So when we come down this list, anything that shows up here, just because you see this here doesn't mean that it's the most relevant. How do we determine this? We determine this based upon what page is it on? Where is the SERP feature at? This, you have to go and look, because I've noticed that the data on SEMrush is blended data, and it might be less relevant to your location. So you'd have to go and take a look. You can also geo-modify the keyword searches as well. But let's just go in here together just to give you an idea. So let's go to questions, okay? And then let's put a perfect. All right, now I don't know if this is going to be the best, and I think there's another way to put a filter on it, but here's what I would do, okay? Because it's not like you're going to create 1,800 videos or 1,800 podcasts. Maybe you will, but really you're looking for the best. Like, where can you do the least amount of work for the most amount of output? What's the best ROI on my time or my effort or the dollars spent, correct? So here's what we're going to do. Let's just say it's this one. All right. We come out here, we go to Google, and we type this in. We're looking for our entity result. What's being showcased? We're looking for our videos, our images, something on this first page. This is page 2. Would I put this in here? Maybe. Perhaps. Maybe I would tie this around on one of my location pages. Maybe I'll make this, how much do they make in X city? Are you with me? This is how we're going to build depth. We're aiming for these types of results. We want to make sure that we're pumping out content and including content that's image, video, audio, location specific. We do that too. We have our map, we have our products and our services within Google Maps. We're not going to talk about that. We put images inside of maps. We update our posts inside of maps, right? And then on top of that, that's synced to your listing within Bing. Bing is synced to Yahoo. It's synced to AOL, right? So I'm updating this. The same photos that I'm utilizing within my posts, within my website, when I'm creating my content, or the videos that I'm using, maybe not as long, that's the same videos, the same images that I'm utilizing for posts. On top of that, my products and services are pointed to internal pages, right? From maps in, it all works together. Okay, let me see if we have any other things here to cover. Now, I think we talked about, let me just double check here. All right, let's just double check this. We talked about service, expert, so creating our expert bio, creating our profiles in the expert's name, who works at X company doing X service. This expert not only has social profiles and produces content, but they also are the person writing my service pages and my service location pages. The images within those service and service location pages were created by my expert, and the image is going to be about whatever the topic is. On top of this, we may include our testimonials from other people talking about my brand and my expert. Perfect. If you could get them on video or take a picture, even better. On top of this, these images, these videos, this is what's going to be distributed to social media, inside of Google Business Profile, and on the website. You with me? On top of this, we're going to also have our video. This can be a section. I want to point this out. Okay. So when you're creating these, we can say that this, all right, this could be a video page. I want to see this. So procedure, like what is the average cost of Invisalign? Okay. This here could be not only a piece of content, but it's also a video. That video has been created as a podcast. What do you mean, Chris? How could that be a podcast? I thought it's long form. Let me show you something. All right. So I use Art19. There's a cost. It's hosted by Amazon. There's Spotify for producers. There's Apple, but podcasts are free. Podcasts get distribution. So you can not only get links, but I'm also reinforcing my brand, my business, my service. And if they get picked up and you get big enough, it's also an entity. With that said, I want to point this out. So let's just say it's, okay. All we're doing, and you can do the same thing with your content. You're going to make a blog, you have a pod, you have an image, you have a video, you have a podcast. I said podcast twice. You're going to take whatever your videos are, you're going to redistribute them, just like I do, right? It's the same thing. It's literally the video, but now in audio format. But now I get a link and I'm getting more distribution to reinforce my expertise, right? And this is the same for your local business. On the local level, it's even easier to break through. Like if you're a landscaper doing this, like how many people are actually doing it? Not many. So that's the podcast. Apple's free. You could go to Spotify. Producers, I believe that one is still complimentary and or free right here for creators. Free. Apple, free. Google, free. But whichever one you decide to utilize, make sure that you can plug in other RSS distribution channels to make your life even easier. What do I mean by this? Well, when you plug these in, what you'll notice, sorry, my mouth is dry. What you'll notice is when I go into the back end, all I have to do is submit my RSS feed to all the top places, right? Like Radio Republic, Spotify, Art19 is where it's hosted. Apple is a distribution. Google is a distribution. So make sure if you're going to utilize, say, Spotify, or it used to be Anchor or Art19 or any of these platforms, make sure you get distribution. On top of that, you can do it even easier. Because now on YouTube, when you upload your video, you can make it into a podcast, submit it to SoundCloud, and then SoundCloud will distribute. They make it easy for you. All right. Just make sure that you're targeting entity results, targeting your locations, targeting your expertise, building your services and your service depth of concept based around a person. And that's it. That's our strategy. That's what I would utilize. Let's answer some questions. That'll be fun. All right. Maybe if there's something that wasn't clear or a piece that I can better explain in any of those. And there's one more thing I want to showcase to you. Image distribution. Images are entity results. Let me show you something. Chris Palmer SEO. Now, I call them entity bubbles. I know they're not, but an image has been given an entity ID. I produce thumbnails, I put out images, I even blast them out. But what we're looking to do is we're looking to associate our brand to primary services that we provide or things that we do, our expertise. For instance, I search for Chris Palmer SEO. When I look up here, these are entity bubbles. These words, these topics are associated to the brand. Google, Christopher Palmer, obviously, engine optimization, SEO tips, schema, local SEO, YouTube SEO. And when you distribute podcasts, videos, images, which is very easy, you will also start to get associations to your brand. Remember, the goal is to be synonymous with the services you provide in the areas you provide them. The faster and the more pronounced you can do this, the better off your rankings are. You'll be creating pages on your website, blog articles, supporting content, videos, and it'll be authority mode. You'll be ranking auto. You'll be spending less money on links, hopefully less money on your ads. And on top of that, if you're pushing ads to your property, that's like throwing gasoline on the fire, right? So here, let's answer your questions. We talked about the images. There's also image distribution channels. When you're creating your images, I want to point this out. Another piece that we did in order to further cement the entity-based marketing is you can register images. Okay. There's Image Commons, there's Wikimedia. You can register your images and then associate or copyright your image to your brand and to the person, right? Further cementing it. On top of that, you can also register your podcasts, right? Not individual episodes, you can, but the actual channel itself. For instance, like if you look up Joe Rogan's, he has one. Here, I'll show you this. Now, not all are, but if you look up, say, Joe Rogan podcast, I'm just using him because everybody knows who he is. But if we come inside of here, he has this little over here. But if I go to view page source, okay, bear with me. Now, this might have a share here. Let me see. Now, if I do this, All right, so this is the knowledge panel. That's the KGM ID. That's not what I'm after. I'm looking for an M code or an association, and I won't waste too much time. I'll answer your questions. But here's the source code, Control F /M /. Oh, is it because I'm streaming? It's giving me a hard time. Yeah, it's just slow because of the stream. When you go and look this up, you figure out that not all podcasts have an entity ID, but podcasts that took the time to go and register their podcast or certain episodes will be given an entity ID. And gee, wouldn't you know that podcasts or channels like this that have registered individual episodes and or have registered the podcast itself tend to show up higher inside of search. And on top of that, they generally get a knowledge panel. All right. I wanted to show you where you can do that at. So to make your life a little easier, Control F. It's giving me a hard time. You can look that up. It's very, very simple. All right. Let's answer your questions. All right. Let's see, or if you have any. All right. Let's see here. Never miss a comment. Dejan says, yo to you. Chris, quick question about YouTube video description. If you have 50 to 100 citations, and if we have enough room character-wise, should we put the number of those citation URLs into the description? So those associations, I'm not looking to necessarily do that, build links to citation sources. However, your videos and your citation sources can be and should be listed inside of your schema markup in order to build or connect those dots for Google. All right. But am I going to just flood my description with that? No, because I want my description to be relevant to the service and to the primary key term that I'm targeting. All right. If it's information, again, I don't want it to be like the primary text to be links or the primary text of that video to be links going out. Like, it's just not wise. It's just not what I want to do. Now, maybe on one of them, if you want to, go ahead. But do I think that's going to be the thing that takes you over? Nah, not at all. I think building the depth, I know that building the depth of concept based upon, in this, like in our example, dental or Invisalign, having all the questions answered. And then on top of that, we're going to look for entity winning results. Like, I know that the videos that I'm going to create based upon these key terms are going to show up inside of the SERPs. Like, I'm going to hit those too. So, and that's going to go in my playlist. That playlist, those videos, I'll put that in schema. My citations, I'll put that in schema, right? I'll even build out a page found around the web. Directories, aggregators, videos. You'll make your connections, but not in the description. All right. Next, regarding YouTube playlists, if we want to rank number one in YouTube for a keyword, then I noticed that playlists can rank number one if earned 50 plus playlist views. Okay. Do you have a service which does those kind of views? No. Moving forward on Grey Hat SEO, we are going to be deploying, because we have numerous highly profitable, strong successes that I can showcase. So I feel very confident about doing it for a business. So what we are willing to do, or what we're looking to do, is create the short form videos for distribution, create the pods, create the informational content that's going to rank, create the images, create the blogs, create the location pages, like create the strategy. Inside of that strategy, we may help those videos or the pods or the images rank and get distribution. But am I going to sell that individually? No, that's not what we're looking to do. Next, do your tests show any positive or negatives if we pin the first comment with a clickable link to our desired landing page or client website? Not sure if a pinned comment shows engagement. Okay. The pages that we're promoting or we're talking about, like whether I leave it or I don't, it would be hard. Like as far as ranking is concerned, no. Now, as far as making sure that it's relevant, like the video topic, the links that it's pointing to, the pages it's linking to, the product that it's linking to on maps, that we're going to make sure of. But as far as adding a link to the video description to point to a page, does it help rank? I never noticed that. I've never noticed that. Maybe 1 out of 10, but I don't have a definitive answer to say, yep, it worked every time. I don't believe that. We only tested it once, though. I might have retested it maybe twice, but I never saw that, ever. All right, moving on. For your local-oriented YouTube channel, are you taking the extra steps to subscribe to local authority channels like Chamber of Commerce, development? If so, any sound practices? So video marketing isn't necessarily the same as doing your blog marketing or your website marketing. We're creating depth of concept based upon location and then also the services that we provide. Those playlists, those videos are targeting a service location, and answering questions, right? So that playlist, which is based upon Invisalign, and I answer all the questions. I might even have location information plus service. Like, how much does it cost for Invisalign in Cape Coral, Florida? How much is Invisalign nationally, right? Like, I'll have those videos, but am I going to throw in Invisalign's channels or the Chamber of Commerce of Cape Coral? No. That depth of concept is based upon my expertise. On top of that, I want to say in 2019, right? It used to be highly effective to also include other channels. But recently, like, I tried it. We did a test for CTR terms. We also did a test. I had a real estate site that we were working on. We tested it very recently, like in the last 90 days. And the playlists that included other authoritative assets, as opposed to playlists that didn't, they performed the same. So it didn't give us a boost in that regard. I hope that helps you. But it used to. Zin, Bello, yep. I do both, but yeah. All right. Geospecific supporting content. I think I remember you started to tell a story about how that got us into a bind. What's your current take on them? So geospecific content is definitely not the way to go. Here, I can further elaborate on this topic. Okay. So as we can see up here, all right, and I'll utilize this as our example. Okay. We have our website.com, which is a dental website. We have our dental service page. Now we're building our service location pages off of the root. Okay. We're building evergreen supporting content off of the service page. That's how we build depth. Now, when I got into a very big bind, lost a very large client, what we were doing, okay, because it worked in the real estate space, but then it stopped working, was we were doing this. So let's just say it was law.com/car accident lawyer, okay? And then it was, let's just say California, okay? So we'd have this page here, okay? Then once we had this California page, what we would start linking to was this. All right. So here. So we would start creating, like, what is the cost of, car lawyer in California. Okay. And then we would start talking about this. We would have www. Here, I'll show you. Stick with me. So we would have our law.com/car accident lawyer. All right. And then we were building -CA. And then we would have car accident lawyer Los Angeles. And then we would have what's the cost of a car accident lawyer in LA. Now, what we found and what started happening, because it was effective and then it stopped. When we started finding out that you want to service the intent and do what Google's rewarding, was on a very similar project like this. We were creating our top level page and our evergreen. We were creating our state pages and supporting pages. We were creating our state location, and then our informational. We were creating state informational, city informational, and evergreen informational. what we started to find was the top level evergreen informational pages would get rewarded. These pages would start to cannibalize themselves, even if they were in cities on different parts of the world, not the world, but in different parts of the state. So what we quickly realized is if we have location service pages within the site, and within those service location pages, we are cross-linking to our informational content. And on top of that, we're talking about the states. If we just create evergreen pieces of content that talk about like what is the average cost of a car accident lawyer, and then inside of there we have an accordion or a section that says, hey, we service these areas, plus we're cross-referencing it, that one piece of evergreen content not only ranks for information within the states, not only can it rank for the broad match key phrase, but also the geo locations of each of those cities that we're targeting, not neighborhoods, but cities. So instead of creating all those cities and cannibalizing, you create one that's evergreen. You hit the state, you talk about the cities, and you target the key term. And through internal links and external links as well, I'm able to get it all with one piece instead of cannibalizing itself. Now, we did this across the board. I believe there were 16 separate services. We were targeting 3 separate states, and then there was probably 20 to 40 cities in each. It all just ate each other. Like I had my Virginia pages fighting with my PA pages. It was madness. So that's that. Now, what's my stance? You talk about the locations. You create one piece of information like this. My stance now is very simple. Do a Google rewards. Depending on your SERP, depending on your key terms and your location, will determine if you have a hard silo, right? Like website.com / let's say dentist / dentist location, or if it's going to be just dentist location. Then when we're creating our information, we create it like this. We create one piece of informational content, but it's going to be off supporting the main idea. In this case, you have service, which let's just say it's Invisalign. And then what is the cost of Invisalign? When should you get Invisalign? Where do you get Invisalign? The best Invisalign people in the world, whatever. And then inside of that content, if you want to have an accordion or if you want to have whatever, however you want to do it, you can hide it. Then you talk about those cities. You talk about those states. You talk about those neighborhoods. Inside of that page, then that page ranks for all of the informational terms. And that's how we handle that. All right. No, I'm joking. I don't know what you asked. I got a question. Okie dokie. Ryan says, can you go through a quick overview of what to do for a brand new local roofing siding company website? In what regard? I don't know exact, maybe elaborate, like in what aspect, like links on page, the structure, the overall strategy, like what exactly? Maybe I can give you a brief rundown or paint very broad strokes for you to at least get you started. So I have no budget, but I want to create links. Do you have a success for free links? You have to come up with something, either that or start looking for directories, Web 2s, foundation sites, and anything that you can build yourself and spend your time doing. That's it. That's all I have. Either that or get a small amount of dollars and invest in an automated tool, which isn't for everyone and has a learning curve. So be careful. Next, we have Peyton asks, and thanks for the question. Do you get entity IDs for media? You must register them on these websites like the comment. Yes, exactly. Or if they get enough traffic, they automatically get the IDs. So as far as images are concerned, images, your business listings, your videos, they are automatically given an entity ID. Even images are automatically given an entity ID. But when I'm trying to cross-reference a person, a business, a service, and service key terms, images, audio, you want to go ahead and register. If you want to register the videos, you can, but I feel that that's unnecessary because it's on YouTube. That's where you're hosting it. So that's that. So image and video and audio, you will need to register that on third-party platforms, and then it will give you like an IPCU code, I believe, which in turn gives you an M code, which is an entity ID. All right. So hopefully that helps you. I'm just putting my shoes back on. All right. More than SEO. Thank you for your help. Peyton, I see. I think I'm actually falling into the exact problem right now. I made a similar silo: service, state, service, city, geospecific supporting. My pages are eating each other. Yes. Yep. So you want to, like, again, so you'll have your page, okay? And on your page, like we call it internal linking blocks or a sidebar, okay? This is going to link to all your cities. Now, just having the word one time now relevant for those cities and that state. You'll talk about counties and zip codes as well. But then we'll create like an internal linking block or do a off-white on white background. And we'll just pack in all the neighborhoods, the towns, the zip codes. We just pack it all in. And what we found on informational content is now that's relevant for not only these locations, but also the broad match key term. You know what I mean? For info content. I tried the same thing with commercial intent key terms, but there's too many other players hyper optimized. All right. And then for the harder niches, you can't get away with just packing it in because there's too many people that are creating pieces of content just to answer that question. You know, but if you're answering a question like, what is the average cost of, a landscaper in Punta Gorda, Florida? There's not many people targeting just that. So you can get away with that. You with me? So hopefully that helps you out. All right. Thank you for diving deep into that. It's fantastic. I will surely take the information and run with it. CP3, you're a baller. Thank you, sir. Slord says, okay, in present, do automated tools work? For supporting and for tiering, yes. For primary link building or entity building, no. Automated tools, in my opinion, are there to support what already exists and to make and establish what already exists stronger or more established. As far as basing your entire strategy utilizing any automated tool, highly unlikely that it's going to be highly effective. All right. And then how important is blogging these days, and how many blogs do you suggest posting? Is there a bulk blog or scheduling tool that you suggest? Should we use our main keywords? Can we link other websites? Okay. We talked about this massively. Like, that was a huge piece of our conversation. In my opinion, let's just say that you're a roofer. All right. Remember, the questions are who, what, when, why, where, and how. So let's just say that you're a roofer. Okay. So when you type in roofing, what you're looking for, or better yet, so what I'm looking for is I want informational intent, which I have. These are going to have a video result, but I'm looking for questions based on roofers in, let's just say, NYC. But generally, yeah, this is what you'll find. Like, low volume, but this is what's getting the volume. So here's a how, here's a do, or you can probably reword this to a who, what, when, why, where, how, and then here's a can, right? So these are informational and or question terms. So what I like to do is I like to find the ones that actually have some type of volume and then do a best of. So in this particular case, if I was working on a roofer in NYC, how many pieces of informational content would I have? 4. The supporting content would be, I don't know if I would hit this one. I would probably do some more searches, but it would probably be like, do I need a roofing permit? What is a roofing permit for roof replacement? Like, it would be around these topics. There's volume, there's people looking for it, it's highly relevant. This would be my supporting. Answer those questions. Who, what, when, why, where, how. Look for volume and then do a best of list. Why? Why a best of? Because I can talk about competitors' brand names, which is usually a local business's primary traffic. Traffic is the lifeblood. If I start ranking and getting clicks for other people's names and I'm taking those clicks from them and I'm taking the lifeblood of their website, what am I doing? I'm slowly becoming the authority. So that's what we look to do. All right. Hopefully that helps. And then a very quick strategy on a roofer that's just starting out. All right. What I would do for you, okay, is very quick. All right. I'll point this out to you. All right. First and foremost, I would go out and I would build my socials. Okay. The socials are going to include Pinterest, Facebook, okay, Facebook group, Reddit group, LinkedIn company, Twitter/X, X company. The next piece I would create is going to be YouTube. If you can, create a brand profile, and then under that brand profile, you'll have YouTube company, and then you'll have YouTube workers or staff. Pinterest, Facebook, Reddit, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. IG or Instagram. Okay. And then I would get TikTok because you get distribution. And then I would do TikTok business. Now, here's what's great about all of this stuff. Okay. This is going to establish numerous things for you. And what I mean by this is you have this distribution, because remember, we're talking about a roofer for this gentleman. The next thing is you need to establish your services. Okay. So services. All right. You're talking about a new business. Services. Next thing is staff. Okay. All this plays a part, right? Which is going to be expert, founder, staff expert, right? These are people's names that do specific things. Next is going to be bold. Next is your services. What exactly do you do? All right. And this will all play, it'll be very clear for you in a second. Okay. What exactly is your expertise? And don't veer off from your expertise. You can only be the expert of one thing. So like I see roofers, they're like, yep, we do roofing, we do shingles, we do residential, we do commercial, we do windows, we do, right? We do pressure washing, we do patio. Now, what's your expertise? Roofing, shingles, residential, commercial? Great. Okay. Can you talk about shingles on these pages? Can we do just roofing? Can we do residential? Can we do commercial? How many terms can we combine in a top level page? So establish your service. The next thing is establish your areas of service. Okay. And what you want to gather up is first and foremost your state, then your county, then your city, then your town, then your neighborhood, and all zip codes. Okay. Now, oh, don't forget this. Okay. Podcast is multiple channels, but you do one, it does distribution. What's great about all these is note, you're creating first and foremost, when you establish your services, you're creating service pages. But before that, who works at your company? There's you, right? You're the founder. What's your expertise? Because remember, you're going to create content. And you're going to create profiles around your expertise, your business, and where you operate, right? You have all of these profiles that are surrounding your brand, your business, and your service. Okay. Next is, what about your staff? Who are they? Do they have profiles? If they don't, make them. And then what's their expertise? When you create that, create those author bios on your website, create those profiles, get their testimonial pages ready, get their expertise videos ready, get their section ready. Next is you're going to lay out your service pages. What do you do? Well, we do roofing, we do residential, commercial. Great. Who wrote those pages? Was it an expert number one? Was it the founder, or was it a staff expert? Who was it on your team? Those are your service pages. mind you, those service pages are now videos. Whatever that page says, that's a topic. It's a high commercial intent page where I can create a video. That video needs to have an image, or well, the thumbnail, but also my page needs an image. That video can also be a podcast, which gets distribution. You can, once you create your service page, that's now a video, that's now a podcast, and there's images associated with it. Then you can utilize your podcast distribution, like say, Podbean, distribute and get your 100 links, right? Then on top of that, you're going to utilize a tool like Buffer to distribute your images to all of your platforms. Then on top of that, you're probably going to use something like video.ai, which then you can take your video, convert it to MP3, make your podcast, and then distribute to all of the platforms, this whole list. So now I took one piece of content, made videos, made podcasts, have images, and I'm distributed across the web, and it's all tied back to my expert. So now I'm an expert on a topic, and I've associated my expertise to a person, which is also associated to a brand. Like this, these are the first pieces. And then you're going to do the same for your locations, right? And then of course you want to create supporting of service, right? Supporting of service, AKA your blog section. And this is answering what, who, when, how, can, why, right? Best of, these types of who, what, when, why, where, how, can I, right? You're answering questions to support your service, which was written by your staff and distributed to all of these platforms. That's how you build out. That's it. That's where I would start. Establish these things first. And then, of course, you have things that to do with your website and establishing your maps listing, which would have to do with getting these in order. Okay. You want to start doing your off page for new site/brand. What you're going to start doing here, we're talking about local primarily in order to establish, because remember, you said I just started out, I have a roofing company. What do I do? Other than establishing all the social profiles around my brand and my experts and creating my author profiles and my meet the team and my testimonials page and everything associated to my experts, I build out my services, my service area. I already know what supporting content I'm going to build. The next order of business, and then inside of here should be your GBP. I forgot. But next is we need to establish the brand. We want to do that from a content marketing standpoint. So we want to do aggregators. Okay. So that's data aggregation submission. There's four to six of them that I would focus on. Very cheap and expensive. Citations, big 20. Okay. I would do all of my meta tags. So that would be like W3. That would be my meta, like my Facebook, my OG tag, right? Like take care of all my metas. Like, am I compliant to hearing? Am I compliant to W3? Am I compliant on the web? Have I registered my business with Wayback? Have I registered my business, right? Go and look up a very big business, like a huge business. Go look up Amazon or Oracle or any of these companies and pull them in to Built With. And what you're going to see is that they've registered their business across the web. And what I call this is your meta tags. I'm registering my DNS, my MX records with Google. I've registered on Facebook. I've done all the meta verifications. It's in the code. Go and do that. All the big players have it. So aggregators, citations, all your meta information, make sure that's done. The next piece is directories, right? I believe there's about 850 of them you can list your business on according to the Bright Local website. So if it'll take you a while, go get distributed. Establish who you are, what you do, and where you're at. Directories, all your meta verifications and DNS verifications, citations, aggregators, socials. That's what I would do. Then I would start working on this. That's going to be the big ones. And then, of course, there's other links. There's more, but this would be starting point. All right. That was fun. I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this today. Thank you. And thank you. And that should wrap it up for me today. I'm going to go and see little C. I had the day off. I had a bunch of work. It's Monday. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope that this has been helpful for not only from a video stand or a video marketing standpoint, but I hope this has guided you to understanding how to build depth of concept, utilizing not only content but also video content, audio content, image content, and understanding to associate people to locations and to services. Services are really topics. Plumbing, here, I'll point this out to you. Watch this. Let's say you're a plumber. All right, watch. If I come in here and go to plumber, okay, now if I look at this, we go to view page source, and I go here, Control F. All right, see this? This association here, this M code, which is very long, we're going to scroll down. See this association here? This M code is the topic. Plumbers, pipe fitters, stream fitters. That is a topic. It's been associated to an entity ID. So words are entities. Co-occurring key phrases are entities. Relevance is rank. I'm associating on top of topics and words being entities. Remember, images. So we'll stick with plumber. Here, come over here to image. Not only are they putting up here, they're associating topics, entities to images, but they're also addressing this. Here, come in here. Let's go to view page source. I think it's listed on the main page, but I could be wrong. Control F. It's either an M code. Yep. So again, I don't know which ones it's pulling. You look down your list here, and they're associating images have been given an M code. Some may have been given a G code, and there's other codes as well. But what I'm getting at is images and topics or words are entities. Entities and vectors. This is how Google understands. Remember, I want to be as relevant to a topic or an idea as possible. So we know that, hey, if Google has given it an entity ID, and as you can see from the images, Google will associate other like images, topics together. Images are relevant to topics. Topics are relevant to images. Images can also be relevant to locations. So here, I'll show you this. Watch this. Come over here, go to Google. All right. Another way to get more relevant and to associate myself is you come over to maps. Okay. And let's just look for, I don't know, how about Naples, Florida. Okay. Naples, Florida, right click, view page source. Okay. Control F. We have /M/. This is a big page. It's a big page. I assure you there is an entity that's related and or there it is. M. See this 071? That's Naples. So anything given an entity ID is what we talk about and we associate to our brand, our business, and our service. That's it. On top of that, we did images. Videos are given entity codes. Topics, words are given entity codes. That's what we're doing. That's how Google understands. So we want to be hyper relevant to areas, locations, topics, images, video, pod, and then distribute. And when we distribute, all we're doing is we're becoming synonymous with those services and those locations. That's why we distribute. The more instances that we have online, the more time Google sees it. The more times Google sees it, the fresher it is. Google rewards freshness. I am relevant to the location and the services and the topics and the words. Now I rise to the top. That's it. It's been a pleasure. I truly appreciate your time today. I hope this has been helpful moving forward. This is how we're going to build out everything. This is how we think about it. We're building out people. We're building out topics. We're building out everything entity-based. We're associating people, services, and brands to entities, and that's the way forward for us. If you have any other questions, Chris, you're the top of the top 10. Links are no follow. Number one already, probably win it. Appreciate your time as always, Chris. Have a good day. See you Thursday. Yep, I'll see you on Thursday. And then Cressy, thank you. I just can't seem to understand why we should link our competitors. Wouldn't it increase their traffic? I currently rank first. Would it be beneficial to me? No, we're not linking. talking about a competitor's brand can be relevant enough to rank for a competitor's brand or siphon traffic. I don't want to link, I just want to rank for their name. Same with running ads on top of their name. I want to siphon traffic from them. All right. So hopefully that helps you out. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Chris Palmer with chrispalmer.org, Gray Hat SEO, the SEOmastermind.org, and of course, proxypixie.com. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.